So for this video, feel free to stay in a chair, but if you want to come down to the floor like myself, you might want to notice how I position myself. When you're sitting on the floor, you want to make sure that your hip bones are preferably a little bit higher than your knees. Okay, so for me, being a bit older, having had knee surgery, I need to prop my sitting position up. So today what I'm using is one yoga block and two kind of thin pillows. And that brings me a nice sense of stability. I feel nice and aligned, yet relaxed. Don't force yourself to sit directly on the floor if you want to do this on the floor. Just really pay attention to this relationship between the hip bones and the knees. So, how to breathe. And I want to break this down into three parts, which is exhale, inhale, and then the space between the inhale and exhale, inhale. So in this video, we're going to talk about exhalation. So I know a lot of times people are used to thinking about the breath. And someone says, take a breath, what do? We breathe in and we breathe out, right? That's what we normally think, in, out. I want you to flip it and start thinking about your breath the opposite. Start thinking about the breath as out, in. That's the natural cycle. So why would that be? First off, think about it if you have a glass of water that's sat out all night by your bed. And you wake up and you want a nice, cool, fresh glass of water. What you want to do is you want to pour out any water that's still there, right? It's been out all night. Who knows what's gotten into it? It's not clean, crisp, cool water anymore. So empty it out. And we want to start thinking about that with our lungs. Okay, a lot of us don't exhale deep enough and we just are not cleansing fully. So start the breath process with your exhale. Empty out. And what you're going to notice is the inhale becomes so much easier when we do nice, deep, long exhalations. So how do we exhale? There's actually three options I'm going to recommend. The first option for exhale, and this is how you should exhale about 90% of your life, which is exhaling through the nose. Very simple. Exhale through the nose, just let it go long. And remember, you want to get to the point where you feel like you're exhaling fully. And for most people, when they think they're done with their exhale, you actually have about 20% or so left to do. So start getting this feeling like, oh, my exhale's finished. Let me exhale a bit longer. So the first option for exhale is just an exhale through the nose. The second option is to exhale through the mouth. Now, we all do that pretty naturally with the sound of a sigh. These are natural. And they're meant to really release. And you probably, if you try that now, like a really long, deep sigh, you feel like a real release. Okay? These work really well, once again, in specific situations. A third option, which to be honest, is maybe my favorite way to breathe when I want to do real kind of conscious, transformative breath work, is combining the two. What I mean by that is you start the exhale through the nose, and then you do the last 20, 30% through the mouth with kind of the sound of a sigh, relaxed in the jaw. A lot of times people, when they're focusing too hard and trying too hard, and it's something we're going to work with this course, which is you want to give effort, but you don't want to try too hard. So make sure you're always relaxed. And a lot of times people hold tension in their jaw. So if they're focusing on exhaling through the nose and inhaling through the nose, then their jaw stays tight. Let that exhale, let the jaw release. So what I like to do with these very nice long exhalations is I start the exhale through the nose, and then about 70%, that last 20, 30%, let it through the mouth. So try out all three of those variations. Once again, the one to become most comfortable with and most familiar with is the exhalation just through the nose. But working with the sigh or powerful exhale when you're working out, and then that kind of what I call like the optimal relaxing breath, which is the start through the nose and finishing up through the mouth.